CBT workbooks promise a way to manage anxiety from home, but do they actually work? Here's the problem. During intense anxiety, the part of your brain using these tools can shut down. This is why just understanding your anxiety isn't enough. Insight alone fails in the heat of the moment. Most workbooks fail because they only target thoughts, ignoring the behavioral shifts your brain needs to truly rewire. So we'll break down the science-backed criteria for the best CBT workbooks for 2026, the ones that work under stress. First, what is CBT? It's based on the idea that your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected. Change one, and you change the others. This isn't just a theory, it's one of the most scientifically validated therapies for anxiety, depression, and even PTSD. Workbooks translate this therapy into a structured, guided program, making these powerful skills accessible at your own pace. We know the method is sound, but what specific features separate a great workbook from a useless one? Criterion 1, no jargon. It must explain ideas in simple language. 2, actionable exercises that connect theory to your real life. And criterion 3, progress tracking. You have to see your improvement to build momentum and stay motivated. But of all the exercises, which single tool is the absolute engine of cognitive change in CBT? The answer is coming up. It's the thought record. This is where you become a detective of your own mind, catching negative automatic thoughts as they happen. The process is simple. You write down the situation, the automatic thought, and the emotion. Then you gather evidence, like a lawyer. Finally, you create a more balanced, realistic thought based on that evidence. This systematically retrains your brain's default patterns. So the thought record is the engine because it directly bridges abstract knowledge to a practical, in-the-moment skill. It seems straightforward, right? So why do so many people fill out thought records and still feel stuck? The first major mistake is confusing CBT with toxic positivity. This is not about forcing yourself to think positive. The goal is realistic and balanced thinking, a thought that is believable and based on evidence, even if it's not perfectly happy. But the biggest error, which we mentioned at the start, is stopping at the thought record. Insight alone is not enough. You must act. For example, you can write 100 thought records on social anxiety, but if you never go to the party, your brain won't truly learn. So if action is so vital, what does the right kind of action look like according to modern CBT science? This is where next-generation workbooks shine. It's not about staying until your anxiety drops. A better method is inhibitory learning. Here's how it works. You state your feared outcome, like, I will be judged. Then you do the thing and count the ways your fear didn't come true. Let's connect this to neuroscience. Remember how your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes offline? That's an amygdala hijack. Inhibitory learning works because it's a bottom-up experience. You are directly training your brain's threat center with new evidence of safety. We've seen the powerful mechanics, but how do you put this all together to choose the right workbook and make the changes stick? Because your prefrontal cortex can go offline, CBT can't be a temporary fix. The top reason workbooks fail is people stop practicing. Therefore, the best workbooks for 2026 are not just collections of thought records. They must integrate these modern behavioral experiments. And finally, the best workbook is the one that fits you. A book for panic disorder will have different exercises than one for social anxiety. Also, know their limits. For severe symptoms or trauma, workbooks are supplements to a therapist, not a replacement. So, to recap, a CBT workbook must push for behavioral change using modern techniques that work with your brain's wiring. When choosing your workbook for 2026, look for clear language, integrated thought and behavior exercises, and a focus that matches your needs. You now have the framework to not just pick a top-rated book, but to understand why it works and use it to create lasting change. For our curated list of workbooks that meet these advanced criteria, check the link in the description. What did you find most surprising? Comment below.